So how about absolute value of x is greater than 3? What does that mean? So that would mean that means that the point x that we're talking about is more than 3 units from 0 on a number line. So that's if we have greater than, we know that it's more than 3 units. So here's my 0. Any number, the first number that's more than 3 units, well, here's exactly 3 units right there. But right here, any of these numbers here are going to be more than 3 units away to the right. And then to the left, here's exactly 3. And then the ones that are more than 3, of course, are going this way. So when you take a look at all the possible answers for absolute value of x is greater than 3, that will make it true. They're kind of like a hole in the graph in the middle, and then starts at 3 to the right and then 3 to the left. So algebraically, if I was going to describe this section of the number line, I'd say that x is less than negative 3. And then or, so it means there's like a break in the graph. So plus these answers as well, x could also be greater than a positive 3. So my solution would be these expressions right there with the word or in the middle. So to give it in general terms, to solve an absolute value inequality where the absolute value of x is greater than a, where x could represent any expression, if a is positive, then the absolute value of x, should be greater than a. It's equivalent to x is less than negative a, or x is greater than a. And again, on a number line, here's my 0, a, negative a, and it's going to be this direction and that direction as well. All right, so let's take a look at example 4 where the absolute value of x minus 9 is greater than 4. So on a number line, that's going to look like 4, negative 4, and we know that it's going to be less than negative 4, so it's going to be this direction, or greater than positive 4. So this is the way it's going to set up. So I'm going to say that x, the expression x minus 9, needs to be less than negative 4, or x minus 9 has got to be greater than 4. So that's where my x minus 9 has to fall, right there or there. So then solve it. So then I'm going to add 9 to both sides, and we'll do it over here as well. And that's going to give me that x is less than 5, or x is greater than 13. So my final answer looks this way. And on a number line, we'd have a 5 this way and a 13 this way, two separate answers. So example 5, again, we need to isolate first before we can break it apart. So I need to move my 10 first. So I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides, and that's going to leave me with absolute value of 2x minus 6 over 5 is greater than or equal to, subtract 10 gives me a 20. Then I've got this divide by 5, which is not inside the radical. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply by 5 to isolate my absolute value. So 2x minus 6 multiplied by 5 is going to be greater than or equal to 100. Now I'm ready to split it apart. I see that it's greater than, so it's going to have the look that looks like this and this. So I'm going to have that, my expression, 2x minus 6 needs to be less than or equal to negative 100, or 2x minus 6 has got to be greater than or equal to positive 100. So two things switched. This switched to less than a negative, and this stays greater than a positive. So to solve it, we're going to plus 6 on both sides, so that's going to give me 2x is less than or equal to, add 6, a negative 94, and then divide by 2, and I get that x is less than or equal to a negative 47. And over here, when I add 6, I get that 2x is greater than or equal to 106, and then divide by 2, so x is greater than or equal to 53. And I've got this or in the middle. And here is my answer right here. One last example, example 6, we're going to solve absolute value of 3x minus 7 plus 8 is greater than 2. So I'll begin by isolating and subtract my 6, and that's going to leave me with the absolute value of 3x minus 7 is greater than negative 4. So here I see that my a is negative. So that doesn't fit the beginning case. It will not split apart as this is right here. So we need to think about it. Absolute values are always positive. So it's always positive. And ask ourselves, when is a positive number greater than negative 4? And the answer is always. So this is going to have an answer of all real numbers. It will always be true. So whenever we have a negative on this right side, we have to think about it. Sometimes it's positive and sometimes it's going to be negative. So, and finally, Schatzi summarizes for us. If we have the absolute value of x is a, then we say that either the x is equal to a or x is equal to negative a. If x is less than a, then it's going to be true that x is going to fall in between negative a and a. So negative a is less than x is less than a. And then if absolute value of x is greater than a, then we'll say that x is less than negative a or x is greater than a.